So after watching the piece of shit that was Arctic Dogs, I went and saw Harriet, the new movie about Harriet Tubman, which I knew like instantly is like, this is going to be the better of the two movies, obviously. Like, even if this movie's just mediocre, it's going to be still better than Arctic Dogs. It's a movie about Harriet Tubman. It should be a good movie. Like, there's no way that this could be a bad movie. And, there's been bad biopics and stuff bad movies about historical figures before. But, it looks, for the trailers, it looked good. I can't remember. I'm sitting there I didn't even look it up, but I don't think there's been many movies about Harriet Tubman, which is very surprising. I can't name any off the top of my head, really. Anybody can tell me in the comments there. You could go ahead and tell me. Maybe I'm wrong. I just haven't seen any. But I haven't really seen many of them. I can't think off any off the top of my head. So it's like, that's weird if there hasn't been many, because that's a really big, important historical figure. And here's another good fucking story before I get into the actual movie. So when I bought tickets for this movie, same girl who asked me, "Really, are you seeing Arctic Dogs?" She just told me, she said she had a person that come up to the counter earlier in the day and wanted to buy a ticket to go see Harriet. And she's like, "But I don't really know what it's about." The girl was telling her, "I don't know what it's really about." This girl at the counter says, "Oh, it's a movie about Harriet Tubman." To which the girl replied, "Who's Harriet Tubman?" That's all it is. I told her, I would have just walked away. At that point, I'm hoping... she didn't say if she was white or black. The only reason I say that, because I guess I would kind of give a pass if they're white. I would somewhat. But if you're black and don't know who Harriet Tubman is, yeah, you might need to catch up on your people's history a little bit. But I was like, really, fucking people don't know who Harriet Tubman. It's not just like a really lesser known figure or anything. But anyways, as far as the actual movie goes, I liked it. It's a good movie. It's an obvious Oscar bait movie. It is. It really is. It's one of those movies it's Oscar season. It's when we're going to get a lot of this shit. And I got a lot of previews for movies I'll talk about in a second that are obvious Oscar bait movies. But yeah, it was good. Just because it's an Oscar bait movie doesn't mean it's going to be automatically bad. There's been really good Oscar bait movies over the years, and this is a good one. It's a movie that's carried by its lead performance by, who was the girl's name? Well, I'm gonna look her up because I want to give her at least give her some credit, not to say that girl. Give me a second here. Cynthia Irvio, I don't know. Sorry if I'm butchering your names. She's a really good actress, and I was like, I know I've seen her and stuff before, and I'm like, oh yeah, she was that the girl in Bad Times at El Royale, who was the lounge singer in Bad Times at El Royale, and she was also in Widows. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember her. She's a really good actress. And as soon as I'm like, oh yeah, this is definitely the girl from Bad Times at El Royale, because she's singing for multiple parts of this movie, where she's trying to grab the attention of slaves that are trying to run away. She starts singing songs, which is weird. I don't know if Harriet Tubman did that. I'm sure she probably didn't, but whatever. Because I think that would attract more attention to you. I don't know how the plantation owners didn't hear her. I don't know, but I mean, apparently they're wearing earplugs or something. She was singing pretty loud. I mean, so I don't know. That's just me. That's like a nitpick, but she is really good in this movie. This is like a star-making performance for her. This is. I'll be shocked if this doesn't get her an Oscar nomination. This is obvious. This is something that's obviously up the Academy's alley as far as obvious nominations going out to her as far as acting. It's a movie that's carried by her performance, a performance only. And it's not really a movie that's has a lot of big name actors in it. Who's that one girl that's in this that scene before? Janelle Monáe, who plays the free black woman that runs this place that is basically a hotel for runaway slaves in Philadelphia. That's like the only person I really recognize. Like, I remember, it's like, oh yeah, it's a chick from Moonlight. Every time I see her, she's a really good actress. And she's like this really cool, sympathetic character that Harriet Tubman meets and stuff like that. And you have the obvious racist white plantation owners. I heard some people try to say, this is another fucking thing about this movie. There's some controversy about this movie, which I didn't even know was a fucking thing, but apparently there's some controversy about this movie, which is like, really, can we not have one movie come out this year, or any year, that doesn't have some weird controversy around it? Like, really, why is there controversy about Harriet Tubman? Like, a movie about Harriet Tubman. And I think most of the problems people have with this movie is it's not very historically accurate. I'm like, yeah, so this is Hollywood. Like, when has a movie based off a real person, especially a historical figure, actually been historically accurate? Not ever. Almost ever. There's never been, like, 100% historically accurate. I heard people bitching about the girl who played Harriet Tubman, saying, or they found some old tweets. I don't understand this fucking culture that we live in, where people dig up tweets from, like, 7 years ago. Like, who has the time for that? Like, when somebody who has no fucking life in their it has to dig this shit up. It drives me nuts every time they do this. You got James Gunn fired from Guardians for free for a while there. Dave Chappelle got fired from the Oscars because of that. Like, why? Just stop. So, anyways, that's just a complaint. But, like, yeah, there's that, and then there's this whole thing about the black bounty hunter that's after her. From what I could gather, that is a character that they made up. Again, that's something that's never been, like, I guess that people forget that that's something that's been done a million times before. Hell, one movie, like, Patch Adams did that, like, very famously made up the love interest character, who was not a real person. It was actually based off a character who was a male who worked for Patch Adams, who did die. And, like, in this one, they made up, like, a black bounty hunter that's after Harriet Tubman. Apparently, this was not a real person. And, part of me is like, yeah, why? Like, again, Hollywood's done this a million times before. You're telling me, like, stuff like 12 Years a Slave, every character in that movie was, like, historically accurate, and that every person in that movie was, like, a person in real life? I highly doubt that. Just throw it a fucking. That's like, I'm just pointing out, like, obvious flaws in people's stupid logic. I guess the movie, people say, I heard it's formulaic. Yeah, it's pretty formulaic. It's not, but it's not bad. Like I said, I was never bored by it. Like, it is really interesting watching, like, the Harriet Tubman, but it's an interesting story about her. She is just like she was a pretty fucking woman for doing what she did. Like, I'm sure that this movie kind of downplayed the danger that she was kind of in, because, like, I kind of felt like that a little bit. Like, there probably was a lot more danger than this movie let on. Like, it seems like for early parts of this movie, like, she easily gets people out of the South and free to gets a lot of fugitive slaves, like, free pretty fucking easily. Only towards the end where she starts to see a little bit more resistance. Which I was like, there probably was a little bit more resistance than that. I don't know, that's just me. Here's one thing about this movie. While I like this movie, it's not perfect. There's one gimmick about this movie that did kind of drive me nuts. So, and this is obviously not historically accurate whatsoever. I'm 100%. I will bet everything in my bank account that this is not historically accurate. So, throughout the fucking movie, there's parts of this movie that apparently, according to this movie, Harriet Tubman was a fortune teller or something like that, because she had fucking premonitions from God. I'm not making that up. There are multiple parts in this movie where she'll just collapse and see visions of something that's about to happen, and because of that, she's able to deduce that they should not go this way, they should go that way. If they go this way, they'll be killed. If they go that way, they'll be free. And I'm like, okay. And like, she has a premonition that her father's in trouble, and so she goes down to the south very quickly because of this, because there's a vision from God. Like, this happens multiple times throughout this movie, and I'm like, what? That's like, why did this movie need this? Like, that is stupid. Like, this is like, obviously this is something odd, like, fucking Hollywood decided to put in there. Like, you don't need to put that in there. For, like, it's a movie about Harriet Tubman. Just tell the actual story. That was kind of silly. That was a little silly. Too silly for me. Like, she's having, like, Final Destination esque premonitions in this fucking movie. It's that weird. But other than that, I did like this movie. I did like it a lot. Go check it out. It's a pretty decent sit. I did like it a lot. Better than Arctic Dogs. So there's my ringing endorsement right there. Trailers. I didn't get any trailers in front of Arctic Dogs. Any new trailers. For some fucking reason, now my theater is playing, like, in the middle of commercials, the trailer for Cats. So now I'm gonna have to sit for that fucking trailer nonstop till December. Great. I'm gonna have nightmares for weeks. Yeah, that was fucking bizarre. I didn't see that. Why do I don't want to see that trailer anymore? That movie, god damn it. I did get, like, this behind the scenes featurette before the preview started of that new Sam Mendes war movie 1917. I didn't notice until seeing this behind the scenes featurette. This movie apparently is shot. Like, it's gonna be taking place in, like, one take, like one continuous shot. It's being shot like a one continuous shot. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. I never knew that was about this movie, but that makes this movie even more interesting. Like, they're filming it like they continue filming for days, and like I'm interested. Like, that makes me kind of curious how this movie ends up being. Like, that's like a gimmick that I always kind of like. And, like, it's a pretty risky. It's hard to do. I can imagine how hard that is to do, especially a war movie. What the hell? That's gonna be cool. That makes me look forward to that movie even more. Mulan. First time I got a trailer for this. I'm pretty much dead inside as far as Disney remakes go. I have no emotions as far, like, fuck these Disney live-action remakes, but at the same time, I just don't care anymore. It's Mulan. I didn't grow up loving Mulan. That kind of came out when I was getting a little older, and I remember seeing it once or twice here and there, and I remember liking it okay, so I don't know. It looks like Mulan, but live action. That's basically all I got for that. Waves. This is a movie about a black family. That's all I got. It's an indie movie, drama movie about a black family who has some issues. That's all I got out of that. And it's apparently an Oscar, or a very well-reviewed film. The trailers were very vague about what the hell this movie's about. Apparently the dad's kind of an abusive asshole towards the son. That's all I got out of it. Yeah, so that's it. Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I don't know if I talked about this. This is that Fred Rogers biopic that's coming out with Tom Hanks playing Fred Rogers. I'm looking forward to this a lot. It's coming out in a couple weeks. I don't know if I highly doubt it'll be as good as that Won't You Be My Neighbor documentary that came out last year. Like, it has a tough act to follow with that fucking documentary. I didn't get a chance to review that, but that was a fucking great movie. I didn't get a chance to watch that movie. That was a really good movie. That's a movie that'll make you fucking cry. I know that. Grown people cry. I had a lot of people I know were grown people that fucking cried during that movie. The Photograph. That's a new Valentine's Day romantic drama that's coming out. It's about that kid from Sorry to Bother You, which another movie I saw that I never reviewed. Fucking love that movie. That movie's so fucking weird. That movie is so weird. But I'm so glad I watched that movie. Like, that final act is just, what the fuck? There's my review for that. I like him as an actor. Like, this kid is a really good actor, and he's a guy who is interviewing this woman about her mom, and they start a relationship, and it's also flashing back to like stories about her mom and her love for life, and kind of paralleling the two and stuff like that. Yeah. It's and whatever. It looks like it's a typical Valentine's Day movie that will come out around this time next year. And then Dark Waters. This is a movie that I forgot was coming out. It's like, I got a trailer for this like months ago, and I'm like, I saw tickets were being put on sale in advance for this movie, and I'm like, what the fuck is Dark Waters? Dark Waters. Like, oh yeah, that's that Mark Ruffalo movie. Like, oh yeah, that does look pretty good. It's Mark Ruffalo it's basically Aaron Brockovich, but if told from a male perspective, but in a lot more fucking dark. Where he is like this corporate lawyer for this energy company that runs a factory that is is releasing chemicals into the water supply of like this little town, and like this farmer tells them the 190 of his cows have died because of it, and like he's starting to investigate it, and like there's he's worried that he's being like followed and they're gonna be killed by this corporation and shit like that. It looks intense as shit. It looks really good. It looks like it's like, obviously it's one of those movies trying to get Mark Ruffalo an Oscar nomination, which is cool. I love Mark Ruffalo. He's probably gonna be really good in that movie. But yeah, that's as far as trailers. I will try tomorrow to go see Terminator Dark Fate. I haven't seen that yet. I better see it pretty soon because that movie's fucking not doing well. And until then, I'll talk to you guys